Here's what's making news at midday. More changes for the Trump administration as the president selects two people to fill two vacancies. Former FBI Director James Comey is back on Capitol Hill today, what we could learn from his testimony. And we're getting a better look at the damage done to a Fitchburg duplex following a fire. News 3 at noon starts right now.
This is News 3 at noon.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Mark is on vacation. He'll be back on Christmas Eve. It's sunny, but it is cold outside this noon. Meteorologist Chris Reese is here with a look at the forecast. And Chris, thank goodness for that sunshine, because we're only in the teens right now. Is that right?
We are only in the teens, so that sunshine is really helping to make things feel a lot better out there. Could feel worse. Thankfully, it's not as windy as it could be. Still pretty breezy out there, but we do see the sunshine. Here's how things look outside right now. The current temperature, 19 warm degrees. You got to take it for December. How about that? Winds coming out of the west and northwest at 7 miles per hour right now. Janesville, one of those warmer spots at 23 degrees, but all of us are seeing those temperatures anywhere from about, say, 16 to 23 degrees as we go through the rest of the afternoon. I do think we'll get a couple more degrees of warming with the sunshine out there. Hear those winds coming mainly out of the west and northwest, and so here are the wind chills. It feels like 10 here in Madison. The Dells, it feels like 6. Watoma, it feels like 4. But then you go to the lakeshore. Manitowoc, Sheboygan, feeling like 2 degrees right now with some of the lake breeze influencing those colder temperatures. But we are watching some cloud cover trying to stream in. This is a weak little disturbance, and I do think it will actually have the potential to bring a few flurries our way. Sometimes these disturbances are sneaky and they just show on up, so we're going to watch that. You can see more of those flurries over parts of southeastern Minnesota right now. So as we go through the rest of your afternoon, don't be surprised if you see some clouds and a few snowflakes falling. But overnight tonight and into tomorrow, I think we're going to remain partly cloudy with those temperatures falling into the lower teens and upper single digits again for those overnight lows. But
so this is part of that big storm that's stretching all the way from New Mexico to North Carolina, right?
No, actually.
Oh,
so this is a totally, separate
different
disturbance. However, the high pressure that we have that's been keeping us sunny is actually why that big storm is going south and not hitting us.
Okay, we'll hear more about that in May weather.
Absolutely.
Actually, no, that's not right.
It's okay. It happens.
Okay. Yeah, that's why he's doing the weather. All right, we'll check back with you in a little while.
All right,
Thanks
sounds
a lot,
good.
Chris. Topping our news this noon, President Trump is filling 2 cabinet positions, announcing today who will fill the post for Attorney General and U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. The president is nominating Bill Barr to replace Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Barr has served in the position before. He was President George H.W. Bush's Attorney General from 1991 to 1993. Barr is expected to get the full support of Senate Republicans in the upcoming confirmation process.
Respected by Republicans and respected by Democrats. He will be nominated for the United States Attorney General, and hopefully that process will go very quickly.
President Trump also announced he is nominating State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert to be the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Nauert is a former Fox News anchor. She will replace Nikki Haley, who resigned in October. President Trump took aim at former FBI Director James Comey on Twitter this morning before he arrived on Capitol Hill. Comey is testifying privately before 2 Republican-led House committees. He was subpoenaed by Republicans who are investigating the FBI's conduct during the 2016 election that includes the Russia investigation and the Hillary Clinton private email server scandal.
A complete farce. We should have an open hearing. All of you should be in the room seeing and listening to Mr. Comey in real time, because what's going to happen is that right in the middle of this thing, the Republicans are going to come out, talk to you, try to spin how things are going in the room, and Mr. Comey won't have a chance to defend himself.
He later tweeted that he is free to talk when he's done, and a transcript will be released within 24 hours. Former Attorney General Loretta Lynch was also subpoenaed and is due to appear before the end of this Congress. A former campaign aide to President Trump was released from a federal prison in Wisconsin today. George Papadopoulos spent 12 days at the federal prison in Oxford for lying to investigators about his contact with individuals tied to Russia during the 2016 presidential campaign. He will now have 12 months of supervised release and must serve 300 hours of community service within a year and pay a fine. Comedian Kevin Hart is stepping down as the host of this year's Oscars. He announced his decision last night on Twitter, just 2 days after he was chosen for the role. His role as MC was questioned after some of Hart's old anti-gay tweets resurfaced. Hart says the Academy asked him to apologize for the tweets or quit. Hart said he passed on the apology because he had already addressed the issue. But shortly after passing on the gig, he did use Twitter to apologize for being insensitive. Fitchburg firefighters are trying to figure out what caused a duplex fire that broke out around 11 o'clock last night. Several departments were called to the home on Woods Edge Drive and worked through the night. This is near the intersection of McKee Road and Seminole Highway. No word on any injuries. Madison police are investigating another carjacking in front of a daycare center. This is the second one outside of a Madison daycare in 24 hours. Yesterday's happened outside Great Beginnings, Arbor Hills Center. The woman was picking up a child inside when 3 family members, a 15-year-old boy, 9-year-old boy, and an 8-year-old girl, remained in the car. 2 masked men opened the doors and pointed a gun at a teen while telling him to get the younger children out. He was able to get the kids out safely. The stolen car was later recovered by the Madison Police Department on Tree Lane. Let's see what Howard is working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen this noon.
We're gearing up for the holiday season with an appetizer that's guaranteed to win you rave reviews, one dip at a time. When it comes to holiday entertaining, we're always looking for something that really stands out. So rather than making the typical Me Too kind of bread bowl, we came up with a modern-day twist on fondue that's sure to be a hit. All we do is combine a good amount of sour cream, shredded cheddar cheese, cream cheese, a splash of Worcestershire sauce, sliced scallions, a few seasonings, and to give this lots of smoky goodness, we toss in some bacon bits. After a quick mix, we spoon this into a loaf of rye bread that we've hollowed out, making sure we leave an inch or so around the sides of the bread so it holds its shape. Now, we put the top of the bread back on and wrap it in foil, and we'll pop it in the oven until the filling is piping hot. When you serve this all-in-one fondue in a bread bowl, surrounded with chunks of bread and some veggies for Duncan, you better stand back or you might get trampled. The recipe for our bread bowl fondue is online now, so you'll be armed with an easy appetizer that's perfect all season long. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a Duncan cheesy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thank you, Howard. Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council will share a prime rib recipe. That's coming up in just a few minutes here at noon. But first, the sun is shining, but it's very cold out there. We'll find out when things will start to warm up. Chris has the weekend forecast when we come back. Our call for action phone bank is open right now. The volunteers are here. They're ready to take on any of your consumer questions. You can call the hotline and the volunteers will help you out. The number is 270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Let's check stocks at the noon hour. Both the Dow and the NASDAQ are down today. The Dow is off, having another bad day, down 400 points, and the NASDAQ is off over 150. Farm Director Pam Jahnke is off this Friday, but here's how the commodity markets look to wrap up the work week.
Well, we began the day with plenty of sunshine out there. We still have quite a bit of sunshine, but we are watching a little wave of cloud cover start to wake its way back on into the area. That could bring a chance for some flurries later on as we go into the afternoon and evening. Here's a better look at that cloud cover. You can actually still see the snowpack mainly to our north and west, but it's a weak area of cloud cover. It's not huge, it's not robust, but don't be surprised if the cloud cover does begin to increase a little bit later on. We're seeing some high-level clouds out there right now, but for the most part, still plenty of sunshine. Temperatures on the colder side, check it out, 19 degrees at the noontime hour right now. Winds coming out of the west and northwest at 7 miles per hour. That's creating just a little bit of a wind chill. We'll talk about that in a second. But otherwise, still we are seeing main temperatures anywhere from about 16 degrees upwards to 23 in Janesville, still below 20 for us here in central Dane County. But the winds coming out of the west at about 7 miles per hour, 13 miles per hour just to our south, and that is working to create a little bit of a wind chill for our friends. So it feels like 10 right now in Madison, 9 in Watertown. You get up towards Manitowoc, it feels like 2 cold degrees. 4 is what it feels like in Wautoma right now. But as we go through the afternoon, I do think we will see those wind speeds decrease overnight. That means tomorrow morning, though we'll be chilly again, the wind chill won't be much of a factor as opposed to this morning. Actual air temperature wise, we'll top out in the low 20s for most of us today. Then overnight tonight, here we are at dinner time. You'll see us at 15 degrees, a little bit of cloud cover streaking in. Don't be surprised by that. By tomorrow morning, 10 degrees. Winds, though, beginning to turn out of the south. That is a warming wind for us, and I do think we'll see those highs into the upper 20s tomorrow. Some folks could even see those highs into the lower 30s. That's certainly going to feel good for a lot of us. But high pressure will be staying in control, keeping us dry and chilly for the next several days. Watch this wave of low pressure across the deep south. That is going to bring some wintry weather to parts of the Carolinas, especially. Check out this regional low pressure, which is high pressure, is actually keeping that storm well to our south. But parts of the Carolinas, we're talking the mountains, Boone, Charlotte, Raleigh, could actually get in on some significant wintry weather, icing and perhaps over a foot of snow for some of them. But in the meantime, we will enjoy plenty of sunshine here in Madison, along with the warm up as we head into the middle parts of the month, which I think is something a lot of us would certainly love to see. Here's those warmer temperatures coming into the picture by the time we get you towards December 11th. And then eventually we will see some colder air work into the picture, but notice how the core of the Arctic air will stay bottled up over Canada. So even though we're staying chilly, we're actually going to watch temperatures gradually trend above average as we go through the next 7 to 10 days. In fact, it is likely that temperatures will be above average for a large majority of the country for the next week or two. However, the eastern half of the country could see above normal precipitation. So even though we are drier for now, there are signs that our storm track could turn more active, bringing more chances for rain and snow into our pattern. The first chance of rain and snow doesn't get in here until we get you towards Wednesday and into Thursday next week, but really that's the only chance to see some precipitation around here. In the meantime, we will stay cold, but enjoy plenty of sunshine that we'll see around here in south central Wisconsin. Susan?
All right, Chris, thanks so much. When we come back, the holidays are here and many people are trying to decide what they want to serve for Christmas. Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council is here. She's sharing some classic beef recipes that are perfect for the holiday season. Hi, Angie.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Happy holidays.
The holidays means prime rib.
It does. It is our favorite here in Wisconsin. So watch the supermarket flyers because it's going to be featured, so you can save a little money. But when you go to the store to buy prime rib or call ahead to order it, it's not going to be labeled prime rib. That's more of like the name of the completed dish. It's going to be labeled ribeye roast or rib roast. You can get them boneless, bone-in. This one here is a bone-in rib roast. Whichever you like, or talk to the meat department personnel and they'll help you out. Tell them how many people you have, and they will get you exactly what you need.
Now, how do you cook a prime rib?
So it can be intimidating because this is a really nice piece of meat. It's a premium roast, but all you need is a roasting pan and a rack. Now, the bone-in roast, you really don't need the rack. The bones are the built-in rack, but boneless, you want a rack. And then I have a tenderloin roast in here too, because that's super popular right now this time of year for holidays. So you cook that the same way. You want the rack because you want the hot air to circulate around the roast, because you're not going to cover it and you do not want to add any water. This is a dry heat cooking method because we do not need to tenderize these. We just want to roast them. So this rib roast, you would roast a 350-degree oven. I like to say set your timer for about 20 minutes a pound, and then watch your meat thermometer. So very important to have the oven-safe meat thermometer, and then you'll know what temperature to take it out at. The tenderloin roast is a little hotter oven, 425 degrees. Cooks a lot faster. So if you don't want to take a couple hours for your meal, do a tenderloin. It'll be 30 to 40 minutes.
Where do you put the meat thermometer in the rib roast?
I always measure like right here, kind of put my fingers here, measure right down, and then go right in the center.
In the thickest part of it?
Like that, right, yes. So you're measuring that center internal temp. I always take mine out at 135 degrees. So nice pink medium rare. That's actually 10 degrees less than medium rare, but you're gonna let this roast set 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. Tent it with foil, and then the juices will get back in their pockets, so when you go to carve it on the carving board, they're not gonna run all over. It's gonna stay inside. You're gonna have a super juicy,
Letting it rest is important, right?
Very, very important, right, because otherwise, if you don't let it rest, the juices are boiling, doing the cooking, and you slice into it, and they're gonna run right out onto your cutting board and not stay in your slices.
Now, this is a very fancy way to serve holiday dinner, a beef Wellington.
Right, so this is called our classic beef Wellington. So this is actually a tenderloin roast. This is a 1 pound, so about half of what I have here. I put it in a hot saute pan and I browned it. And then you have puff pastry, so just one sheet of the purchased puff pastry, and then some mushrooms that I browned up with some shallots and a little red wine and a little Dijon mustard and thyme. That's it. And then put that on your puff pastry, put your tenderloin down, wrap it up, put a couple of vents on the top, and then bake it in your roasting pan, but without the rack, no rack, at 425 degrees for about a half an hour. And you'll have this beautiful roast.
That is beautiful.
Yes.
So you wrap the puff pastry in the cooked roast or the raw roast?
I seared the roast.
You seared the roast first.
It was seared, so a couple minutes, roll it around, maybe 3-4 minutes, so you get that sear on there, which starts the cooking process, and then wrap it in the puff pastry, pop it all in the oven.
Beautiful. Now, how do you serve your rib roast?
Now, this is called our classic beef rib roast with horseradish sauce. Now, we have a ton of prime rib recipes on the website, any kind of sauces, rubs. This is just a simple vegetable oil, cracked black pepper, and garlic rub on the roast, and then served with a homemade horseradish sauce on the side, and then some roasted fennel, if you like.
It smells out of this world. It really smells good.
Beeftips.com is our website. Everything is on there, right on the homepage. Click on it, and you'll find links to prime rib recipes, to our tenderloin recipes, to our appetizers, which we're always looking for a great appetizer this time of the year also.
Wonderful, wonderful. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays
Great to see you. Thank you so much. And Chris is here with a final check of the weather.
That's right. We are seeing a little bit of cloud cover moving in today that could bring a few flurries this afternoon. Not a big deal. Also, I do know it says an alert day for Friday. That was for this morning, but we are no longer under an alert day. It'll still be a cold night tonight. Expect those lows to fall to about 9 or 10 degrees. So another cold one, but the wind not as big of a deal tonight. Gradually warming up by a couple degrees each day, hitting the 30s by Tuesday. That's worthy of celebration. But then we do have a chance for a rain-snow mix Wednesday into Thursday, but still staying a bit warmer as we go towards next weekend.
Very good. Thanks, Chris. Have a great day, everybody. See you back here for Live at 4.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.